Okay, awesome. We are online. Let's continue. So welcome everyone. For those who join us for the first time, let me briefly explain what is PyLadies Amsterdam, and then from that, quickly guide you through the agenda for today, and that would be our event. So welcome everyone for AgentCamp Amsterdam 2026. If you join us for the first time, we are PyLadies Amsterdam. We are part of a global community called Surprise Surprise PyLadies, and we make sure that underrepresented groups are shining on the stage. So that's what we do. Today's event is a bit different from the regular events. Usually we run guided workshops every month. Sometimes we do open source community contributions. This event is different because it's not a guided. How it's gonna work, I will show you options to choose between 3 workshops. And then for those who will require Azure credits to run these workshops, I will share the Azure credits with you. So that's the setup for today. So if you're looking for guided workshops for complete beginner, it's not this event. So this event is done in collaboration with Global AI. Just try to imagine that all over the world, events happening. So we are proud to be a part of this event. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to just reshare the GitHub link with you, so you also have it in place. And let me put it in the chat. So I'm putting it to meeting group chat, so you have it as well. Okay, just 1 second. Let me recopy it again. And then we'll move forward. Okay, now you have the link to the the GitHub repository. So how the event today is going to look like. Together with Global AI community, we're running AgentCamp, and you have 3 workshops of choice. And there is also a link to the AgentCamp Keynote. I highly recommend to watch it. It's around 15 minutes, has a lot of interesting information. So after running workshops, you can get back to that and watch this keynote, which was recorded for you with a lot of love. So now let me briefly explain what type of workshops we have. And then for those who doesn't need Azure license, Azure credits, you can just start immediately. And I will be here with you for the next 2 hours to help troubleshoot if something goes wrong or something doesn't work as expected. And in case you need Azure credits, then after explanation of the workshops, stay with me and I'm gonna give you the Azure credits. The only thing is these Azure credits are definitely valid today. I'm not sure whether they would be valid tomorrow. So I highly encourage you, if you start the workshop, try to finish it. Yeah, that's being said, let's quickly take a look at 3 workshops we have today. So workshop number 1 is very, very fun. What are you going to learn to do? You're going to learn how to build your, let's say, imaginary pizza ordering agent. And for this, you're going to use Microsoft Foundry. So if you go to the link, it basically brings you to the all necessary steps, how to follow, how to set up everything, how to follow through, and what tools are needed for that. And also, as a bonus, of course, you're going to cover the MCP and how to connect to it. Then the second workshop would be, I would say, one of the most demanding one. It's basically the attempt to build a prototype of Airbnb. And let's say this, let me just add more people to the meeting. Yes, sorry for interruption. So getting back to the second workshop, that's where you're going to try to build some kind of prototype of Airbnb. And this workshop, disclaimer, it requires an OpenAI key. So we not sharing or distributing OpenAI keys. You have to have your own. As an option, what you also can do if you don't have OpenAI key, then you also can, if you're an advanced Azure user, you also can create, for example, and depends on like the model which is required, an OpenAI endpoint and call it from Azure. So you can more or less get away with that. Otherwise, if you have your own OpenAI subscription, you can do that. And the third workshop, I think for me, it was the most, sorry, but it was the most interesting one because with this workshop, you learn how to basically build your own podcast production studio where you're gonna use local model. And with this local model, you're gonna build very smart agents. So that's more or less the setup. Quick recap. The first workshop is about building your own pizza ordering agent. The second workshop is about like building some kind of prototype of Airbnb and having fun with that. But it does require an OpenAI key unless you want to replace it with Azure OpenAI endpoint. And number three is the workshop, how to build your own AI podcast studio workshop. So with all being said, let's do the following. So now you have the link to the repository, so you can go pick up workshop you want to. So those who are with me right now on Zoom, I would say it would be very nice if you raise your hand for those who needs an Azure credits. So I'm gonna start sharing it with you. Just let me know, please, if you need them. Okay, I see a hand. Yeah, just okay, great. Yeah, there is some delay, so let's do that. Fantastic. Yep, I will put for now this page here, them checking. Okay, great. So I see more hands coming up. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share with you instruction of how to claim the credits. Okay, so let me go. So that's what you need to do. So, okay, I just put instruction. Oh, it's not structured very nice. Let me restructure it a little bit better because otherwise everything is jumble. I don't like it. Login. Okay, almost. Okay, I'm setting up instructions for you and you will receive it in a couple of minutes. No, I think faster. I'm capable of doing it faster for sure. Now the code, which is very important. Okay, almost there. So now the code, right? And then, okay. So let's take a quick look together at the instructions shared via chat. So how does it work? You navigate to the link which is provided. There, it's require you to register. So you do registration. Please use your real email address. Otherwise, of course, you're not going to get access to. After that, you log in with a Microsoft account you just created. You enter the code, which is this six letters, and then you wait for confirmation email. And the confirmation email should literally give you an access to your Azure credits. So that's how you can claim them. So yeah, let's see. If there are any troubles, just send a message and we're gonna take a look at that. And for those who already has a license, have credits, not license, have a subscription, good luck with the workshops. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask them here. So I just got a question. Let me answer it to everyone. So the question is this Azure credit for workshop 1? So those Azure credits are for all 3 workshops. If you feel very energetic today and you want to try out all 3 workshops, you can do that. And as I mentioned, I'm not sure whether it's going to work tomorrow, but in case it can work tomorrow, you also can use it for the rest of the workshops. Hope it answered your question. And in addition, I still have 3 hands raised. Just let me know whether these hands were for the subscription or you have any questions. So we have a couple of people who joined slightly later. Let me add more people. Okay, so this is update for those who joined later. What happened so far? I showed, so in the chat, there is the link to the repository. In this repository, you can choose one of 3 workshops to run. If you require Azure credits, then below the next message, how does it work, explains to you how to claim Azure credits for the workshop. This event is not a guided workshop as we do usually. This event is organized together with Global AI community to make sure that we can try out different workshops prepped by them. And from the list of 3 workshops, you can try any of them, although workshop number 2 required having your own OpenAI key. In case you don't have it, but for example, you're an Azure user, you can create an Azure OpenAI endpoint for you to be used for this workshop. So please just keep this in mind. Hi, I see that we have newcomers again. So sorry, just a quick reminder for newcomers. If you just join us in the chat, you're going to see the link to the GitHub repository. From this GitHub repository, you can go and choose one of 3 workshops to run. It's not a guided workshop event. That's, let's say, DIY event where you can already has a workshop created for you and you just can follow it. And if you require Azure credits, below in the chat, you can find instructions how to request Azure credits. Keep in mind that Azure credits would be only available for the session, and the chance that they would work tomorrow is not really, it is. Okay, let me check. There is more question. Okay, thank you. Somebody asked to report the link to the repo and somebody reposted. Thank you so much for reposting. Great. And then instructions start with how does it work. This is the instruction to claim Azure credits. It's really lovely to see how you helping each other. Fantastic. And just a quick question for those who joined slightly later. Do you see the instruction how to get Azure credits? If not, let me know. Okay, there is a question about the redeem code. Let me just add it here. So to answer your question, that's the steps to get it, and here also the code to get it. That's 6 letters codes that you see right now in the chat message. Okay, I have a question. So there is a question. The question is, I have one problem. I couldn't verify my student status in Microsoft Azure, so I don't have idea about it. So basically, you don't need to be officially a student to get this Azure credits. So option number one, if you already had a student Azure subscription in the past, what I do recommend is to use another email, which was not used and which is not indicating that you're a student. So for getting Azure credits for this event, there is no strict requirement to be a student. So like simple way to troubleshoot it in case your email was used for getting Azure credits as a student in the past is to use another email. I see that we have a couple of new people who just joined us. So let me quickly recap what's going on. So in the chat, I'm gonna reshare the link to the GitHub repository, which we're using for this event. So I'm resharing it now. That's a repository. Repository contains information and links to the keynote and 3 workshops. You can choose one of the 3 workshops to follow. The second workshop requires OpenAI key in case you don't have it. But for example, you have your own Azure credits, you can set up for yourself an Azure OpenAI endpoint to be used for the workshop. In case you need Azure credits, I'm right now resharing instruction of how to get it. Please keep in mind that this Azure credits could be only available today, but it could be that tomorrow that will not gonna work. So I just reshared the instructions, the site that you need to visit, that you need to register, and after you registered, you enter the code, which you see on the screen, and then you're waiting for confirmation email. So please use your real emails so you can get access to your credits and Azure subscription. And until, let's say, 8 o'clock local time, I will be here to help just in case you have any issues or challenges. So feel free to send a message if something is not working as expected. Otherwise, enjoy the workshops. I will repeat the message because we have new joiners. So what's happening right now? I sharing the link to the repository. That's the link to the repo. From via this link, you can access the repository with the set of 3 workshops to run today. Please keep in mind the workshop number 2 requires OpenAI key. In case you're Azure user, you can create for yourself separately, like Azure OpenAI endpoint to use it for this workshop as well. It's not a guided event as we usually have. So in this case, it's like self-guided, let's say, and I'm here to support you and troubleshoot if you run into any issues. And now I also, in case you need an Azure subscription, I also sharing the link how to get it, also via chat. So take a look at the chat. Keep in mind that you have to use your real email address for registration, and this address should not be linked to current Azure subscriptions that you have or had in the past, preferably. And all information is there. So good luck. In the meantime, we get in thanks for organization of the event. It's also not only thanks to us, it's also huge thanks to Global AI community. They provided these wonderful workshops for you to try out, and they also provided us with Azure credits. So they are to thank as well. We have a new joiner, so I would repeat the information. So for those who just joined, this is not a guided workshop as we usually do. This is self-guided event. Here, just like less than 1 or 2 minutes ago, there was shared the link to the GitHub repository. Please let me know whether you see it or not. If not, I will repost it. Therefore, there is also a link to how to acquire Azure credits if you need them. So you have 3 workshops of choice. Please keep in mind the second workshop requires OpenAI subscription. If you don't have it and have an Azure subscription, you can still create for yourself an Azure OpenAI endpoint to be used for this workshop. The subscription which is granted today would be working today. I'm not sure about tomorrow though, but today it should work. So if you feel really enthusiastic, you can literally try all the workshops today if you still have energy and stamina to do that. And in case of any questions, feel free to ask it in the chat here. So I just saw the new person join, but I assume if I get it correctly, that's the person who came from YouTube. If you came from YouTube, you know more or less the drill. And just let me know whether you see the chat, because in the chat instruction how to get Azure credits is shared. Just please let me know if you see it. If you don't, I will repost it in the chat. Okay, the chat is blank, so I'm repeating it. Do you need a GitHub repo or you just need the link to Azure credits? Okay, sharing. Apparently, if you join as a new joiner, like for you, chat is indeed blank. So I'm just resharing both messages, okay? So first one, this is the GitHub repo. And second one is, oh, let me copy it fully. That's a link to claim credits. Here we go. Now you should see that. Okay, you're welcome. And just to clarify, that's you, the person who came from the YouTube, right? Yeah, fantastic. You know more or less what to do next. Thanks. And just additional information, there was a question also from YouTube, like, are they free? Are the things we're doing free? Yes, we're a nonprofit organization who wants to spread the love to Python language. So it's all running by volunteers. It's all built on the shoulders of volunteers. That's what we do. And we keep our workshops free of charge to make sure that everyone basically interested in the topic can join them. And this event I mentioned is, let's say, atypical event because it's not a guided workshop, but usually we run guided workshops every month with a workshop giver in the room, online, or let's say in person. So take a look at our GitHub repos available. Maybe you can find there a lot of interesting information for you. And if you spot something, you can always open a PR. And side note, although I do understand you're busy right now with workshops and everything, but in case if you want to share which workshop you pick up, it would be very nice to see which workshops you're chosen, just out of the curiosity. There was a message that one of the folks not decided yet which would be better for beginners. I would be honest with you, all of them a little bit heavy for beginners, but I think probably the simple would be workshop number one. From all three, I think that will require. It's also not very simple one, but I still you can follow the instructions. And if you get stuck, like feel free to ask questions. We are here specifically for this purpose to help you unstuck. It's okay. Great, fantastic. Yeah, go ahead with number one. So mm, there is a direct message to me, but I still, without saying the name, I still can answer that. Don't worry if you're struggling with accounts. The thing is, I think the better solution or the fastest solution is just to create new email and use it. In this case, you will not be backed with all this old one. So let's see. Maybe it is going to help. Okay, I just got an error trace. Let me take a look at it. So I'm checking it right now. It's about Workshop 3 installation of Olama on Windows machine. Okay, got it sorted. Fantastic. Yeah, great to hear. But I think it's still valuable information. So if anyone following the workshop number 3 was unable to install Olama and get basically the trace back, which, yeah, in a nutshell says that like you don't have specific permission to install the pass. Sorry, to install it. Yeah, it's pretty long, very long. And then it's basically as soon as you adjust settings, you need to restart Windows after the changes. So after that, it works. So, but still, thanks, very valuable experience. And it's nice to see that I see someone doing workshop 1, someone doing workshop 2, another doing workshop 3. Fantastic. I'm happy that this time we have a variety for you to choose from. I see there's just a person joined. Please let me know whether you're a completely new person or you return back to us. Just for me to understand whether should I go through the instructions again, or you know already what to do. Thanks. Okay, now I see that we have indeed like completely new joiners. Let me quickly guide you through what's happening now. Although you're a little bit late, but you probably still will have time to do something today. So first, I'm right now copying to the chat the link to GitHub repository. And that's exactly the GitHub repository which you see on the screen. So this is the link to the GitHub repository. From this GitHub repository, you can choose one of 3 workshops to follow. If you feel very enthusiastic and energetic, of course, you can go through all of them, but just keep in mind it's going to take some time to finish them. So this event is not a guided workshop, it's self-guided workshop, and I'm here to support you in case you get stuck somewhere or something doesn't work as expected. In case you require an Azure subscription, if you don't have your own, let me share with you the steps how to get it for you. I just reshared it in the chat. Please keep in mind that this subscription will definitely work today. I'm not sure whether it would be active tomorrow. And if you look back at the workshops, workshop number 2 require an OpenAI key, which we do not provide. But if you have an Azure subscription or a Get Azure subscription from us, and if you're familiar with Azure, then you can set up for yourself an Azure OpenAI endpoint to be used for the workshop. Although some code has to be adjusted, but still it's doable. So yeah, in case of any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll be here with you for 1 more hour. I see the question about cloning the repo, downloading the files. To which workshop you're referring to? If you give me the number, I will give you the answers. Thanks. Okay, fantastic. Let me get back to you in a minute. Okay, so the question about for workshop number 3, do I need to clone the repo or download the files? Eventually, the best option to do both. First, to clone the repo, and then you have the instruction on the README file. If you just scroll down, it goes step by step how to set up your studio. There are some steps, of course, if you already have Python installed, you don't need to do it. But for example, you need to get a llama, which means you need to download it, of course. And then if you don't use VS Code, there is also an opportunity to set up VS Code for you, and then adds any specific Python extensions, and then adds the rest of the framework and related packages. So yes, you basically can do both. So regarding, there is a question about error for workshop 1. Let me check the traceback and get back to you. But before doing that, I see there is a new person who just joined. Let me briefly give the instruction to this person, if I may.
Hello, yes, thank you very much.
Great. Okay, so in the chat right now, I'm sharing 2 links. So this is link number 1. It leads you directly to the repository. It's not our typical event. It's, let's call it, atypical event. Usually we do guided workshops every month. This is self-guided, let's say, events. You have 3 workshops to pick up from. And basically, in these workshops, they are self-guided, so you walk through, and in case you get stuck, I'm here to help you, let's say, unstuck. That's the guidance about workshops. Workshop number 2 require OpenAI key. If you don't have your own OpenAI subscription, but have Azure subscription, you can still, for example, set for yourself an Azure OpenAI endpoint. Of course, the code should be a little bit modified, but the rest, like, you still can run this workshop. In case you need Azure credits, I also can share right now instruction how to get them. So in this case, you're just following the instructions, you get in yourself the subscription, and you work with that. The only one caveat that we have, this subscription can only be valid today. I'm not sure about tomorrow, because this is specifically learning subscription for you to run through the workshop. So that's more or less a setup. And now let me get back and check traceback for the issues with workshop number 1.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So looking at the traceback from the workshop one, yeah, it's basically you tried to call API, which does not exist yet. So let me check on which step exactly you are, and then we can check maybe you missed some step, or maybe the service is not deployed yet, and you need indeed, as it said, like wait for a couple of minutes until it became live. So let me just check the instructions. I did it a couple of weeks ago, so I need to refresh my memory. Thanks. I just wanted to ask which step it was. Let me check it. Thank you so much. Okay, so for the troubleshooting of this workshop number one, step two, create your first agent, the traceback that we have. Let's check together. When you're following instructions, there is a point when you need to create a .env file, and there you need to put project endpoints and model deployment name. I want to make sure that when you we're creating the .env file, that you replace the project endpoint with the real endpoints that you have from Azure AI Foundry. That's very important because if you're not given it proper one, then it doesn't know basically what to use. And then later that you do load .env to make sure that .env file is loaded into the Python script and the project endpoint variable is populated. And that's basically the endpoint that you're calling. And that's the endpoint that it says that it's not available. Okay, I see another question about workshop one. Let me first focus on that and then we get back to you, okay? So, okay, yes, you took the value from the Azure Foundry project. What is also important, that you not just take a value, that you take it and copy pasted it properly without leaving any like empty spaces or something. And the project endpoint should be in, it's not brackets. What was the name for that? Just give me 1 second. Okay, getting back to the question about workshop number one, the issues that the endpoint doesn't exist, so deployment not found. So the API does not exist. I pointed you to the making sure that the value from Azure Foundry project was taken and added in the right way. And here I would say, just 1 second. So make sure the project endpoint comes between the quotes. So you have this double quotes, and then between double quotes and the basically the link, the full link, which starts with HTTPS, that it's full and it's not cut in any of the places. And also make sure that your project name is also replaced with your real project name, just to make sure the project endpoint is correct. And then, yeah, because if you get endpoint, it means it's already deployed. So then it should be there. So let me know just to make sure that the endpoint was taken correctly and it was put in full properly. While you're checking this, I'm checking another question about workshop number one. So let me read it out loud. There is, okay, so someone is following workshop number one. It's step number one, set up Microsoft Foundry. And then Azure shows the subscription was created, but list under created Foundry resource is still empty. Okay, if you refresh the page, is it the same? Is it stays the same? Okay, stays the same. That's very weird, but let's just double check. So just to clarify, after you get to portal, you get into a Microsoft Foundry service, you click create resource, and when you click create resource, it's open up for you the next screen where you have to input information. So this step was done, right? Okay, so good to know. So as soon as you refresh the page, it wasn't, yeah. Oh, refreshing the page was not enough. Logging out and back solved it. Yeah, sometimes it works like this. Sorry about that. But at least now it's here so you can continue. And now I'm curious about another person who was further with this workshop on the step number 2. Well, the step number 2 for the to make sure that the endpoint is copied properly, and then you call in the endpoint. Okay, let's check. So that's and still fails. Okay, let's investigate it further. And before going there, there was also a message about workshop number 2 for a compiler or in the front end. Yes, okay, I see that. Yes, please open a PR because it would be also valuable for not only for participants of this event, but also for other participants who keep joining this event globally. Yes, please open the PR directly to that repo. It would be very beneficial. Thanks. Okay, I'm getting back now to the workshop number 1. And then I will go to workshop number 1, step 4. Okay, let's just get back first to the person with a failing run of the agent. Okay, so let's double check. We now, I also want to check with you when you set up, so the workshop number 1, step number 2, the traceback that the deployment, it's basically said deployment doesn't exist. So I want to make sure that the step number 1, Microsoft Foundry, was fully succeeded. And at the end, when you deploy a base model and you tested the model, that you get basically response from the model. Could you please confirm that to make sure that we know that that is deployed? So now we can basically call this model in our conversation. Yes, you got a response. Fantastic. You got a response. It means that that part is done. Now we go in again step by step. So after that, you create a .env file. You properly put project endpoint there. Model deployment name. Let me double check model deployment name just to be sure that it's the same. I think we're working with GPT-4o, yes, and the agent, yes, GPT-4o. Okay, so project endpoints then replaced with your Foundry resource, and your project name is also replaced with the real actual values. Okay, then we have that. Yeah, and also you see the note that make sure there are no spaces around the equal sign in the .env file. Can we make sure that there are no spaces around the equal sign in the .env file as well? Because if .env file is incorrect, then it couldn't pick up properly the endpoint. There aren't any spaces. Fantastic. There are any spaces. Great. Around, right? No, from both sides. Okay. Then we go to the .env. Okay, then you created you imported libraries, you load the .env file, then you created the project client, then you created the agent based on this. And please tell me, so it's failing when you run, is it failing when you run the step of look at that, when you run the step of the agent or when you're moving forward? Let's check. Regarding step 4 for workshop 1, I will get back to you. Just let first troubleshoot the step 2. Okay, you see the chatbot wants to try to connect to the client, it fails. Okay. Let's see. But just to clarify, so when you just printing agent created, I just want to make sure that it works. Let me, in the meantime, read the traceback. Maybe there is something that we're not seeing. Okay, so you run an agent Py, line 36. Okay, so agent created, great, created conversation, great. Okay, let's move forward. So agent created. Okay, conversation is also created. Okay, and then when you try to send it to the agent, that's exactly when it's failing. Let's check. agent, log.env, yes. Created the agent, created the conversation. Yeah, okay, so you write a message and it fails afterwards. Okay. Message and it falls afterwards. Again, when you run it, give you the same error, right? So it still say that it couldn't connect to them. Let me get back to the traceback. Could you just copy again the latest traceback, because it's weird if it's there and if it can create, but then I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And also a question for you, is it the Azure subscription? Is it your own Azure subscription, or is it Azure subscription that was given? Yeah, it's the same line 36. The given, okay. Line 36. Let me check. Conversation ID. Conversation ID, yes. Then input. Okay. Yep. Okay, I'm looking right now still at this and trying to figure out what's going on with that. Okay, and even it fails even if you hard code the endpoint. That's very weird. Okay, what I look at, or what I propose to do, basically is to get step back, kill the previous deployment, and basically recreate it. Let's say recreate it from the beginning. So you can still, of course, keep this code. You're going to reuse it later, but for now, I will just go to Foundry. I will just remove, delete the resource that you created. The base, sorry, not the resource. You can delete the model, create the new model, make sure that it's reachable, and then try to go again step by step with the new one. So maybe this is going to help. Let's see, because it's really, really weird with what's happening. So while you're trying this one, let me go back. There are two more questions. So first I got to the previous question, which was workshop number 1, step 4. Okay, there was a question about step 4, workshop 1, explanation, what should custom pizza calculator function do? Okay, let me take a quick look at that. Step 4. Let's see. Or, yep. We'll search. Regarding the question for workshop 1, step 4, what should custom pizza calculator function do? So I'm looking right now at the codes there. Okay, the create vector store, then you got, and then you had a search tool. Then you create an agent. Okay. And then I'm checking what's there. Project client, vector restore, tool set, Foundry agent, conversation. Is this reading step 4, this pizza calculator? Because I'm trying to look up for this calculator. Sorry, I couldn't trace it back in step 4. Is it step 4 of the workshop 1 for this custom pizza calculator function? Or it's further? Yeah, sorry, like I'm trying to find this this function you're referring to. Yeah, so for the workshop 1, please point me to the where exactly you found this pizza calculator function in step 4. Thanks. Okay. Okay, workshop 1, step 4, instruction chapter 4, tool calling. Okay, great. Thanks for pointing out. Now let me check it. Stone calculator function. Okay. Okay, I found it. Some decent pizza. That's a nice one. Okay, getting back to you. Custom pizza. Yes. Tool calling. Mm. The pending question about workshop 3, I will get back to you to promise. Let me first get to that. Okay, I found it. So the tool calling for the custom pizza calculator function. So you are building a function tool, which, from what I see, is the one that get pizza quantity. And then, so you have basically two tools for your agent. One is use file search tool, and another is using function tool. That's the question about this function tool, right? Sorry, I'm just clarifying to make sure that it's correct one. Yes, fantastic. Yes. So the goal of the function tool is basically to understand the order and to extract amount of people who wants to order the pizza for. So in this case, yeah, you see in the description it said get the quantity of pizza to order based on the number of people. So the whole idea of this tool is understand the amount of people, and based on the amount of people, calculate amount of pizzas that could be ordered. And there is also, I see some logic in get pizza quantity function, which this tool is using. And this is about, there are some assumption that each pizza can fit two people. Yeah, depends on the size of the pizza, of course. So you give your agent two tools. One tool, which we call function tool, is trying to parse based on the number of people, try to like, not to predict, it's not correct word, calculate how many pizzas has to be ordered. That's so it just waiting for amount of people, and then it's says, like, for example, if you said two people, then it would be one pizza would be enough. If there are like six people, then three pizza would be enough. That's your function tool calling. And you have also another tool in your tool set, which is file search tool. And this file search tool helps you to go through the knowledge. So the knowledge is that information you added. So you have this folder called documents, which has information about menus, for example, and it allows to go through and basically provides like menu for the user, for example. So in your case, the whole idea of this function tool is to understand the amount of pizzas based on amount of pizzas to be ordered based on the amount of people. And then further, what happens with that? So you expand in the tool set, you have this file search tool, now you add in this function tool. And after that, you basically create a loop. The whole idea of the agent is just a loop, and then just waiting for the input. and identifying the amount of pizza quantity that could be given. So I do hope that it's helped and answered your question. If not, let's try again. Okay, for Cindy, okay, PR for the workshop too, fantastic, great. Now let's check. I'm sorry that it takes so much time. I'm getting to you with installing Olama. Let's see what's happening there. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, and just like very, very simple and stupid explanation, the whole idea of agent is basically the loop that goes, and this loop requires some what we call tools. When you define functionality, what it should be doing, it should be understanding amount of pizza, should it take an order, should it taking money for the order, should it order substitution if, for example, specific element of pizza is not available. So that all would be under the function tool belt of the agent. And then basically there is a logic that try to figure out which tool to call in which time. So that's the whole idea of the tool set for the agents. Sorry, I'm getting back to the question for workshop number 3. There was issues with alarm installation. So the first question, although it was like, more than 10 minutes ago, does this problem still persist for workshop 3 installation of Llama using Conda? Is it still persist? Okay, yes, great. Not great that it still persists, but let's check. Okay. So you were installing a Llama. Now you're in file inside your Conda environment. Okay. That's what you get. So just to clarify, you created Conda environment and you now install you install Llama in this environment, and now you try to basically run basically try to install requirements.txt, right? And that give you this this answer. Okay, fantastic. Get from Okay, let me check how what packages it requires to install for workshop 3. Because what could happen when you're working with Conda environments, the preferable way to install any libraries within Conda, not by using pip install via requirements.txt, the preferable way is to use Conda native installation. And Conda sometimes have libraries packaged slightly in different way. So let me check this for you now. Okay, the direct installation rather than it. Okay, sorry, just to clarify, so you're saying that you did direct installations and now it's work, but the original installations that were provided in the instruction doesn't work. Is that what you're saying? And just in case, you also can unmute yourself and speak if you're not afraid to. It could be faster if you want to, of course.
Oh yeah, so I tried to install the requirements file which was provided as original. But I first did a Conda environment and cloned the project, but it did not work with the requirements file. But then I shrinked those into the original PyPys. Then it works.
Okay, but
But the problem is when I run the IPNB files, I have
mm-hmm,
corrected the right kernels.
mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why. Is it because of the packages or I have a new error here I can show you.
Yeah, show it. Yeah, I have new traceback. Okay, let's check. Let's call Llama chat clients. Okay, get instructions, the speaker. Expected keyword argument model ID. Yeah, come on, unexpected keyword. Yeah, it's not picking up. It's not picking up. I guess so. From what I have an impression that it's not seeing the Olama. That's why, like when you call it, basically. Although if it's not, wait, if it's not, then it's gonna give another error.
Right.
Yeah, then would be different error. Um,
Because when I run Olama version, then I still find there is Olama inside my environment.
okay, so Llama is set it in your environment, and it's when you run it from the command line, or you said you're running it from notebook, right? Is there a specific reason why you're running it via notebook? Because I think we can go. Wait.
That's how I believe the workshop was designed.
Wait. That's weird. I was running it from CLI. Just a second. Let me get back. Actually, it's okay. So. Yeah, and that's where it failed. So it's failed on step 7 when you were installing Microsoft Agent Framework and related packages. That's where it failed.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, let's now that's then we move forward. So that's installation. So in this case, you just install it. Manually, and
Yeah.
then you went to the. Okay, I'm going forward. Yes. Then yeah. Okay. Yeah. So and then we need to make sure that when you open it, then it's getting connected, and that's where on the mission. That's where you're failing on the mission one, right? With the basic agent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's yeah. Okay. So invert load load.env true, and then it go through. Okay. That's happened when you run the agent Llama chat client. Okay, that's where you get it.
Olama agent. Olama chat client. Yeah, right.
So what could happen here? That could be we need to make sure first that the kernel is pointing out to the right environment, and we need to make sure that Olama is in this environment. That's I would check the first, because sometimes kernel could point out to like basic on the environment, or like I don't remember the name for the general one. Let's check first the kernel.
Yeah. Okay.
To make
Yeah,
sure.
I'm on the right kernel.
Okay. So now there is also this, I see there is this load for .environment file.
Yes.
So you also populated .env file, right?
Yes.
Okay. But sorry, you're really, really far away. Don't hear anything.
Yes. Am I? Hello?
Yes, now I hear you. Yeah, because there was like a sound very, very far away.
Okay.
Okay. So let's check. So the right kernel. Then here we have this, because we get Olama chat model ID from the environment file. So let's check the .env file has the proper link to
Oh, I need to go to the .env file now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because this, look, it says, like, if we go step by step, so it
Yeah,
started,
yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
important OS.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that .env, you need to make sure that you're in the right kernel, and you need to make sure that in the kernel, if you're, you can or use .env file, but you need to make sure that this .env file is reachable from that. And if it not, you can basically replace it just with variables in the environment as well. So that could be the issue, because what's happening if you look at the structure of the code. So when you define what agent is a Llama chat client, and then it has parameters, and the first parameter is model ID, and model ID comes from OS get environment, and then it grabs environmental variable Llama chat model ID. So I suppose that in your kernel, this Llama chat model ID variable does not exist. That's why it couldn't pick it up, and then that's why it assigns some garbage to model ID, and that's why you get your trace back, because it says like this model ID get unexpected input. So you need to make sure that your environment variable responsible for Llama chat model ID is set up correctly.
Okay, understood. All right.
That would
I'll
be the
check that.
case. Yes,
Okay.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let me check the rest. Okay, the workshop 2 PR created. Fantastic. So someone found a bug and already opened a PR to the repository. You see? Collaboration. So, folks, we have 7 minutes left, which means like 4 more minutes, even like 3 more minutes for your questions. And then I will close the event with doing the last basically announcement. So let's see. Okay, so that's our 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes that left. Let's do a quick recap. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today's event was organized together with Global AI Community. They provided wonderful 3 workshops to play around with. I'm happy that we get really beautiful distribution between amounts of workshops. So all workshops were covered, fantastic. If you continue working with your Azure license, Azure subscription, of course, you can try out different workshops as well. If you see anything, please open a PR. And then in case you're working with the subscription that you get today, there is a high chance it's not going to work tomorrow. But still, you can get back to these workshops and redo it in your own pace if you have your own Azure subscription. So what's cooking next? We're prepping for you an interesting workshop. It's going to take place at the end of May. And I couldn't reveal the topic yet, but it will be given by a very interesting workshop giver. So we will see to move forward. And then that's basically it. And there is also a message. Let me quickly check this. Of course, we're interested in feedback. If you want to, you can just unmute yourself and say it if you want to. It would always be nice to hear. If you feel uncomfortable unmuting yourself and telling, just send the message, and then we provide the feedback. Of course, those are some comments about completely beginners. That's, of course, very, very interesting. So whatever works for you, you can unmute yourself and tell it, or you can just send it, whatever your preference is. And you also can send it. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
So at first, I want to thank you. I mean, I was late in everything because only today I joined a meetup group. So thanks a lot. I've noticed a few points where I struggled a little bit because, well, I mean, GitHub and all the other stuff, I was basically new to it. So I needed to do a few quick searches in Google, I guess, which is fine. But I don't know if you're interested in maybe also having a workshop for people who are less knowledgeable when it comes to the stuff. Maybe I could send a few information. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I would say so. I'm just typing the best way to reach out to us. I'm just typing our email here, like pretty much responsive. So I just added to the chat so everyone see it.
Yep,
so feel free to send your recommendations. And also just to say, so usually like we run, there are different chapters of PyLadies globally, and some of the chapters focusing on complete workshops for beginners. We focus on more, let's say, advanced users. We usually pick up specific topics and run through that, but any feedback is always valuable. So if there is a way to improve or make the workshop simpler and more, let's say, easier to start with, of course, just like organize your thoughts or just dump the raw thoughts, whatever way you prefer to. I just shared the mail. It would be better because these specific workshops were created by Global AI. They always asking for feedback as well. So it would be also lovely to share this feedback with them. Also specifically, for example, about workshop number 1, which I assume you are following, right?
Yes.
Okay,
right.
Fantastic.
Thanks a lot.
Yes. Thank you so much. So this now concludes our session. Thank you for joining. Sunny day, but you still were with us. So thanks a lot. Enjoy the workshops. And in case of any feedback, please send it to us. We'll gladly get it. And for our upcoming events, again, that would be our typical events are guided workshops when there is a workshop giver. And then there are a group of helpers that's supported. So thank you so much. And that's it for today. I'm going to stop the stream now. Okay, the stream is stopped. So thank you, everyone who joined. I just stopped the stream. And now I'm